24 hours without my phone. What really happened? Today, I took on a challenge that many of us might find pretty daunting, spending 24 hours without my phone. In a world where smartphones have become such a big part of our lives, disconnecting completely sounds crazy, right? But I wanted to see what life would be like without constant notifications, distractions, or the usual scrolling. Buckle up because I'm going to take you through my experience, the highs and lows, and the surprising lessons I learned along the way. Let's dive in, day before the challenge. Before I even started this challenge, I realized I had become so dependent on my phone for nearly everything, from waking up in the morning with an alarm to checking my messages every few minutes. It had gotten to a point where I was mindlessly scrolling instead of truly engaging with the world around me. The night before the challenge, I was feeling a mix of excitement and anxiety. What would I do without my go-to source of entertainment? How would I manage communication with family and friends? I decided to plan ahead. My alarm clock would be set on my old school clock, and I wrote down my plans for the next day so I wouldn't feel completely lost. Just thinking about it made me realize how much I rely on that little device. It was a wake-up call, for sure. The start of the challenge. So the moment finally arrived. I put my phone in a drawer, closed it up, and felt my heart race a bit. I took a deep breath, reminding myself that I can do this. At first, it felt strange, almost like I was missing a part of myself. But I quickly reminded myself that this was for my well-being. I knew I had arranged alternative ways to communicate if needed, but still that physical absence felt oddly heavy. I braced myself for the experience ahead, ready to embrace whatever came my way. Morning without phone. Wake-up time came, and I jumped out of bed, no more snoozing my alarm. It was kind of refreshing to not immediately grab my phone and scroll through social media. Instead, I went to the kitchen and whipped up some breakfast. I noticed the simple things, like the sounds of birds chirping outside and the smell of coffee brewing. I even took a moment to appreciate how nice it was to eat with no distractions. After finishing breakfast, I sat down with a book I'd been meaning to read. Can you believe how much we forget to engage with the world around us? I certainly felt more in tune with my surroundings, and it made me manage my time differently. Midday thoughts and activities. As the day went on, I filled my time with various activities, going for a walk, doing chores, and even catching up on some hobbies. I felt surprisingly productive. However, there were moments when I missed my phone, especially when I wanted to check something quickly or send a text. I found myself reaching for my pocket out of habit, only to remember it wasn't there. But I also enjoyed chatting with friends and family face to face, which felt more genuine. I realized how easy it is to drift into our phones instead of connecting with the people right next to us. Emotional journey. Throughout the day, I experienced a roller coaster of emotions. At times, I felt anxious about missing out on notifications and updates. But then, a wave of calm washed over me as I acknowledged how free I felt without the pressure of social media. I found clarity in my thoughts and far less stress. I could focus better on activities, and my attention span felt longer. I also started to appreciate the little things more. It wasn't about poking at a screen. It was about living in the moment and engaging with my environment without distractions. Evening conclusion. By the time evening rolled around, I felt accomplished and surprisingly reflective. I didn't expect to learn so much. This challenge opened my eyes to how often my phone interrupted my day. I realized I don't need to rely on it so heavily. I felt proud of myself for completing the 24 hours. I learned the importance of disconnecting occasionally to reconnect with myself and with others. Going forward, I'm definitely aiming for more phone-free moments and less mindless scrolling. Maybe a digital detox once a week? That sounds tempting. Final thoughts. So, there you have it. Who knew taking a break from my phone would lead to such a transformative day? I encourage you all to try it out. You might discover something surprising about your habits. Let me know in the comments if you're up for the challenge.